Let's go, folks. Let's go. Now, I know this is a football show, but it's game one of the NLDS tonight. Giants versus Dodgers. Are you kidding me? Gotta show up for the home team. And of course, I got my 2012 ring on. Kiss the ring, baby. Kiss the ring. We're going to be talking about some 49ers football, obviously, but I got my gear on for the Giants, ready to watch tonight's showdown. Uh, Walker Bueller versus Logan Webb. It's fantastic. But um, some things to point out. Obviously, let's transition over to now football. We have Trey Lance potential. Let me just take this off. It's a little too obsessive. Trey Lance potentially and below is still it's still up in the air, but it seems as though the 49ers would roll with Trey Lance here, and that's going to be an exciting look, to say the least. So we have that going. We have getting Elijah Mitchell back at running back. That'll be kind of huge. And a very impressive Cardinals team. I know I kind of made a video about this earlier in the week. When I first saw them, they're really impressive, man. And they do a lot of things well. It's not like one person dominating. Of course, you can say Kyler Murray, but they really spread the ball around. That's what's really impressive. They're playing really good football, something the 49ers have really struggled with this year. Complementary football from special teams to offense, obviously, and then to defense. They're playing well across the board. And so the 49ers are going to have to be disciplined. They're going to have to be the more disciplined possibility. I mean, we're still talking about a veteran team here with the 49ers now. They play together for some years now. So it'll be interesting. But the key factor is Trey Lance may potentially start, which kind of changes the dynamic. I mean, a lot of folks love it. Some folks still are questionable about it. They're like, he's not ready. You've heard it before. I think it's time. I think it's time Trey Lance should get the start. And it's not even because he's ready. I mean, Jimmy is just hurt. That's just the bottom line. So we're going to be talking about some keys to the game here. Let's start talking about Arizona offensively. Now, Kyler Murray, that is the key in and of itself, right? But this offense has been just gelling all together. They're number one in yards and points per game. And with the Niners defensively, I mean, they had trouble. But when he's going, stopping them. Number two at Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers again early on they were. I mean, the Packers just were just marching down the field on us. Then late we were able to clamp down a little bit, but still, two losses. Well, is the quarterback. The quarterback, you have an elite quarterback in Rodgers and Wilson. I don't know what the hell's happening. Hold on. Okay. Whatever. My stream service is tripping out, but whatever. So you have Rodgers and Wilson, both really good quarterbacks. And the Niners have what beat Jalen Hurts and Jared Goff. That's not really saying much. So now you have Kyler Murray, who is in the conversation for MVP early on. That's bad news for the Niners, right? We have to be able to slow down, keep up with these elite quarterbacks, and maybe Trey Lance can do that. Maybe huge if. But like I touched on, Kyler Murray spreads the ball around. I mean, look at just the weapons, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, it's not like he's having a monster year, but is DeAndre Hopkins at the end of the day. Then you have AJ Green, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, the rookie who does punt returns and kick returns. Also plays like this Debo gadget role, right? Because he's taking snaps in the backfield. So that's just another wrinkle that the Cardinals have added to this year's offense. Then you have running backs Chase Edmonds and James Conner. So that's a very good already running back group there. So they have the weapons, they're spreading it out like they should, and they're just picking at you from all different angles and with people with all different shapes and sizes. So it's not like they're constantly going vertical on you. They do, they take what the defense gives them. And a lot of the times is these, intermediate routes, they pick up 6, 7, 8 yards easily. That keeps drives open. It gets them in second and short, third and short, which is easy with a guy like Kyler Murray because all you could do is just scramble and pick up the first down and then extend drives and extend plays. And that's what makes it so frustrating as a defense to step in and try to defend that. So, two elements. You have Kyler Murray, who is playing out of his mind right now, and you have him being able to extend play, scramble, which the 49ers have historically had trouble. Even, at the top prime of Shanahan's, team, the 2019 team struggled with mobile quarterbacks. Um, I think it was Lamar Jackson gave him trouble, right? And then you have Patrick Mahomes. They were a great defense there, and those two guys were able to beat us, right? So you have to take that into account now. And I think even with all that said, I still think the 49ers have a slim chance to really pull this off. But they're gonna have to play the best ball of football they have played all year. Like there's no question. You have to clean up the turnovers, you have to force turnovers. This is one of the things that the 49ers are really good at. They're not good at forcing turnovers this year. They have one turnover, one takeaway. And if you recall, that was week 1, Dre Greenlaw pick 6. And it was off to a great start, but ever since then, zero, nothing. I mean, yeah, they forced a couple fumbles, but they didn't recover the fumbles. That's the key thing. Like it's now time where the ball falls in favor of the Niners now. We're gonna need that. We're gonna need those that sort of luck. But on the flip side, let's talk about Arizona defensively because this is a much improved Vance Joseph defense. We talk about only one takeaway for the Niners, and they're like I want to say like -5 differential or something like that. But the Cardinals are actually +5 and turnover differential. And if you look at it, they have 9 turnovers. 9. And I think that's like third best in the league. So you have that. And then you have, I mean, on defense, let's just name some of the playmakers. Chandler Jones, they got JJ Watt, who they picked up this year. Now I did have Byron Murphy here, but I think he's not going to play, at least from what I was able to see on Twitter. So that's actually a big miss for the Cardinals. He's been outstanding second-year player. So I think he's a third-year player, actually. Isaiah Simmons is actually a second-year player, and he has been playing well. Last year, remember, if you recall, he was actually one of those rookies where I was just not impressed with his game, and I think he was benched at some point, I want to say, but this year, man, he's been balling. No question about it. Isaiah Simmons has been balling. Of course, they have Buda Baker. And then they did have Xavier Collins to start the year, but let me just pull this up. Yeah, let's read this. Xavier Collins, because I found this interesting. So this is Arizona Sports. Gets is their radio show, but it says it hasn't been the start to the season many envisioned. Arizona Cardinals rookie linebacker Xavier Collins, which kind of caught my attention. I wasn't really high on Collins. In the draft, I felt like the Cardinals really jumped the gun, drafted him a little bit too high for my liking, but I was like, hey, they need him. Go out and get him, do your thing. And actually, early on, like early preseason on, I felt he played well and he was getting established. But it seems like he's slowly taking the backup role. He's seeing less snaps. I think it says here, he just saw 6% of the defensive snaps and was used more as a special teamer. So similar, ironically enough, similar to what happened with Isaiah Simmons, we're seeing with Xavier Collins. So maybe it's one of those things he gets development this year and then next year he comes in. But clearly, when you're drafted kind of like, with Kinlaw, right? You drafted like in the 15 range from 12 to 18. Like you're expected to start. You're expected to be a starter. But seems like that hasn't been the case for Xavier Collins. Their pass coverage has been fantastic. I don't know off the top how many interceptions they have. I know they have 9 turnovers. I don't know how many of those are interceptions. They seems like a lot. I think Byron Murphy himself has like 2 of those. So pass coverage has been fantastic. Vance Joseph really has done a good job putting these guys in a position to succeed. And you're always going to see a Vance Joseph defense, disguise blitzes and give you either bring the entire house or, rush only 3. He gets creative, and so far he's been hitting those play calls, man. Called a fantastic game against Sean McVay and the Rams, who were clicking on all cylinders the first 3 weeks of the season. So that, I got to tip my cap. I've been very harsh on Vance Joseph, and Kyle really had his number, but we'll see this year. It's going to be a really good matchup. I mean, when you really think about it, Kyle Shanahan really hasn't had much to write home about this year. His offense has looked so vanilla. His offense hasn't scored many points, but somehow they have been in every game, and you have to credit some of that defensively, and some of that was just like really after you're being blown out, those points really don't matter type of thing. But I'm gonna need Kyle to step it up, especially when you have rookie Trey Lance. I'm gonna need you to get him like outside of the pocket, man. Get the running going. I think the Niners, if Elijah Mitchell is able to start, you have Trey Sermon, Elijah Mitchell. You're gonna have to use those two with Trey Lance. Running the football is going to be Trey Lance's best friend, and that'll open up play action, all the good stuff that can come with, just Kyle being able to run the football. And he hasn't been able to do that effectively, or not like he wants to, with teams like the Packers and the Seahawks, who lost last night. What happened to the Seahawks, man? They lost. They're now 2-3. On one hand, I'm just like, I'm kind of glad the Seahawks lost. Obviously, Russell Wilson went down with an injury. I never, root for that, but the team losing, I do root for. But on the flip side, you're just like, man, this Niner team lost to a terrible Seahawks team. Like we were dominating them the first half, and it only took like one big Russell Wilson play to just get them going. And that's the frustrating part about all of this. But the 49ers can really turn this around and make it really competitive for the NFC West with a win. Now, easier said than done. You have one team that's clicking on all cylinders, Arizona, and then you have the Niners who have the talent, have the potential, but are not meeting those expectations. You have your starting quarterback down, and then you have Trey Lance, a rookie who really did look like a rookie. Although he did scramble, extend some plays. When you look at, film, there were missed opportunities for big chunk plays, and I'm hoping that he's able to learn and develop those as the season progresses, and God willing, if he's just able to stay in there, right? So I think it's going to be a close game. I really do think that. For some reason, the 49ers play better on the road. They hate Levi Stadium for some odd reason. So I hope that helps a little bit. Again, it's gonna come down to turnovers. If the Niners have more turnovers than Arizona, actually, the Niners should have 0 turnover. Should turn the ball over 0 times. That's a big ask from a rookie, right? Trey Lance. But honestly, if they have a chance of winning this game, is gonna start with the turnover battle. Who's gonna win it? And then after that, it's gonna, I think I think this is a defense in Arizona that you can run on. If the 49ers can really get that going and, make it hard for this defense to slow you down, get time of possession, and on the flip side, have Kyler Murray on the bench, that is going to pay dividends. And we just got to go back to small ball, man. We got to go back to, really perfecting the little things. I think that should be the message for Shanahan all week, all weekend, is just protect the football, run the football, and just, knock out all of those boneheaded penalties. Because I really do think the Niners have one of, if not, well, I wouldn't say the best, but I would say one of the most talented teams in the NFL. They just have to put it together, and they haven't so far. And we need to figure out an identity, right? We need to figure out who the 49ers really are, because we still are yet to know. They're not a big running team because of the injuries. I get that, but they're also not a big passing team because Jimmy Garoppolo isn't just that guy. At least, yeah, he just isn't. I don't think he'll ever be that guy. So now we have Trey Lance. Maybe he can give us an identity here on Sunday. Um, let's see. I'm thinking if I'm missing anything. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a winnable game. I really do think that the Niners are really, if they really bring their A game, I think our A game is better than Arizona's A game. Again, I just be a fan, but that's just how I feel. NLDS tonight, Giants. Got my rag here. The Giants need to take care of business. Okay. I need them to take care of business. Trying to go through my press conferences notes. D'Amico Ryans, we have Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan again looked irritated. I don't know if that's just how he feels about the media this whole year, but all year, I think even before the draft, Shanahan has really looked irritated, looked annoyed, and it continues this week. Um, and it's back-to-back weeks of losses. We're gonna need to end this misery pretty soon. So Shanahan, I need you to get back in the win column. Maybe you won't be as irritated talking to the media after the game. Um, because they went with Norman, I think that shied them away. Actually, I don't even know the status on Norman. I hope he plays. I think he's really being overlooked here with this defense. I think if you put Norman, Emmanuel Mosley has been outstanding. Um, he's just been I mean, he's going up against the top receiver every time, and then I think he's been money. Like I couldn't expect more from him. He's been outstanding in that regard, and then you match him up with Norman. I think that's a solid, B team right there. I really do. I mean, obviously, I think Verrett brings more in terms of speed. I think Verrett is a little bit faster than Norman at his age. But Norman brings like a level of toughness that Barrett doesn't. He's just more physical at the line of scrimmage. And I kind of like that. I really do. Because I think Mosley can also be physical, and his physicality is sometimes overlooked because of his size. But I think, you have that, and then you have Tar and Ward at safety. I mean, that's a pretty tough looking secondary. Um, so I kind of like that. I hope Norman's able to play. But going back to Gilmore, I think it really came down to where Stephon Gilmore wanted to play, and I think he wanted to play close to home. Um, Similar to Sherman, I mean, if I'm Richard Sherman, I don't want to play for the Niners. They're okay, but Tampa Bay is obviously they're way up there right now. They have it together. They have Tom Brady. They have this offense who's can click, and then you have this defense who, you know, shines at times. There's really, really positive things about Tampa, and I would have chose Tampa at the time too. Niners need to get it together. I mean, that's just the bottom line. If you want to attract guys, you need to play better and really look competitive. Because when you're losing games against Aaron Rodgers and a depleted offensive line, I mean, regardless, it's Aaron Rodgers, but still, you gotta find ways to win that game. And then you play the Seahawks team who looked terrible Thursday night. Um, I mean, their defense isn't really that good, and you can't take advantage of that. That's really sad. So play better. Maybe you'll have guys calling to come. Okay. Okay. Anyways, folks, that's gonna do it for me. Beat LA.